come and share some comments on a very critical and important issue pertaining to young people transitioning from alternative care. And as Lucy has mentioned, that it is one of the things that are part of the proposed amendments. And when they and we spoke to young people, this was a very critical issue that came up. And so we strongly believe that the preparation for transition and aftercare support for young people in foster care or child and youth care centers should be a must for every young person in alternative care. As you can see there at the bottom of the screen, not a may, but a must. And so you're going to hear me say this through these few slides that I'm going to share with you. You're going to be hearing this come up quite a bit. Not a may, but a must. So just a little bit about myself. Now, this is where I grew up in Cape Town. It was a community called Lotus River, and it had high gangsterism and crime in it. This is a very recent picture that I took. But when I was young, I lost one of my best friends called John Zulu.
Sorry to interrupt, Gerald.
Yes?
I'm the sign language interpreter for this group. Just moved from the main group. Can someone spotlight me, or can you see me, or can interpret?
Okay. The technical guys there is in here. I can see you. I'm not sure if everybody else can see you.
Can you ask if everyone else can see me?
I can see you.
We can only see you when you speak.
Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Cool.
Yes.
I'll start interpreting.
Yeah, I think we can only see you when you speak, but when Gerald is speaking, we won't see you. So I think they must be maybe a technical. Yeah, I think I can assist us with that.
Oh, it's fine. You can go ahead.
Can you help?
You can go ahead.
So can I go ahead?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, this is where I in Cape Town, in a place called Lotus River, and I lost one of my best friends called John Zulu. We used to call him Zulu, and I lost him unfortunately to gangsterism. Now, when John turned 18, he was actually in foster care. He was with a foster family, and when he turned 18, his foster family was no longer a place of belonging for him. So he joined this local gang in our area, and I was quite losing my friend to this gang. But I realized that he felt unsupported, and that the gang maybe gave him something that he always wanted, a place to belong and a powerful identity. But today I often wonder what John's future would have been like if he had access to support as a young person that was in foster care. During a very challenging time of his life, as he turned 18, I would see him walk down the streets with his hand behind his back and be very, very low. And he often ran to the streets to go and find some comfort, I guess, or find another family. But that was John's reality, and I was very sorry that I lost him to gangsterism. So John inspired me, and I now work, after many years, I work for an organization called Mamelani, as Lewis has mentioned, who partners with youth and organizations and people like Neziswa and Lucy to ensure that young people growing up in alternative care are supported in their transitions from child and youth care centers and foster care. I really don't want any of you to lose friends like I had, because there was nobody that could really support them after they had left foster care or child and youth care center. So alongside youth like Lewis, we have developed at Mamalani a youth transitions program for youth moving out of alternative care. And we also work with organizations to see how we can support child and youth care workers and social workers in providing youth with more opportunities to participate in their development. Instead of adults just making all the decisions for youth, we really have discussions with directors and managers and social workers to see, hey, how can you allow young people more opportunities to lead and to be, as we say, behind the driver's seat, behind the wheel of the car, so that when you leave, you will have at least had opportunities to test drive the car. You know, when you leave, we can at least maybe have some experience of driving the car. And I'm referring to whether it's cooking or all those normal experiences that we should have as young adults or young teenagers. So that is what we do, and that is what I committed myself to by my friend John. Unadia, are you still okay? You good?
I'm good. I don't know if can you see me now?
I can see you, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Gerald.
Yeah.
So Unati, when you are speaking, we can't see her. Only when she speaks, that's when we see her. So the whole time we were talking, we couldn't see her.
It's fine. Gerald can go ahead because you're sharing your screen. That's why we can't spotlight Unati.
Yeah, but Denzel, I think the issue is whether there are people that
That needs to see her.
language interpreter in the group, and so
They can
see her.
Yeah, they can have that option to spotlight herself if they want to, but at the moment you are sharing your screen.
I
So-
can see Unati just fine. She's
Yeah.
the only person popping up on my screen
Exactly.
next to the
Okay.
slide.
That's fine.
Yeah. Continue, please.
Thank you.
So, in terms of the proposed amendments, a particular concern for people like myself and I guess Louis, Naziswa, Lucy, and many others is Section 191, and Lucy touched on it earlier on, relating to the development programs for children in child and youth care centers and support before and after they leave the child and youth care center. At the moment, it says a registered child and youth care center must provide therapeutic and developmental programs designed for the residential care of children outside the family environment. So it says it must provide for children, it must provide therapeutic and developmental programs. So that's a must. They must do it. I want to emphasize that they must do it. But now here's the thing. It also says that that it may include a program designed for the assistance of a person prior to leaving a child and youth care center and to provide aftercare services for a period not exceeding 12 months. So they, again, in one way they say that the child and youth care center must provide a therapeutic and developmental program, but further on they say that it may include a program program designed for young people leaving a child and youth care center and aftercare services. So I'd like just to focus on this must and may story and just share 3 points with you, and then I will be done with my little piece. Just want to move something quickly. So the title here is not a may, but a must. So here are 3 things that I'd like to share. The unique needs and challenges of teenagers transitioning from care must be recognized and greater priority if we are thinking of this amendment. And I know that you are going to be thinking about this and exploring this and hopefully making some contributions to it. But teenagers or adolescents have very particular challenges and needs that has to be recognized within these amendments so that they have a greater chance of thriving beyond care. We can't just say that child and youth care centers must have developmental programs and expect that that is going to take care of teenagers that are leaving or transitioning out of care. The needs of a 12-year-old leaving and the needs of an 18-year-old leaving are very different. There are many important transitions you have to face during this phase, as I'm sure that you might know, you know of people who have. You are thinking about accommodation, you're thinking about employment, further education, issues of identity and belonging. And so this can be a very overwhelming period in your journey and your development when all these transitions are happening at the same time. So a developmental program to support young people transitioning out of care must be prioritized. It must be a must. And at the moment, it is very, very, very vague. The proposed amendments don't make preparation and aftercare a must. And support for young people transitioning out of foster care and childcare centers is still very. So I really hope that as young people that this thing that you can really pay attention to and really give your voice into. It mustn't just be a may, it must be a must. It must be a must. Not a may, but a must. I wish I could make a song about it. Maybe we must ask the musicians in the house if they can make a song about not a So the third thing and the last thing that I want to just share, there needs to be a greater clarity about the definition of care and the professionals responsible for it. So when we look at the definition of aftercare, they talk about that when young people leave, that that there was going to be this aftercare services for a period of so and in the definition of aftercare, they say aftercare is a supportive service. What is a supportive service? Can we please clarify that? And there's also a question about the professional, the social worker that is going to provide this assistance. Who is this person? Is it within a child and youth care center? Is it an external person? Who is it? So we believe that there needs to be clarity around this aftercare definition. And we believe that if it's going to be child and youth care centers that's going to take the responsibility of aftercare services, that child and youth care centers, child and youth care workers and social workers need to be supported in prioritizing the needs of teenagers specifically that are transitioning. Again, let me stress the needs of teenagers, the need to be behind the wheel is very important. A young person recently told me he had left the child and youth care center, and he recently told me, gee, you know what? I really appreciate that the child care center protected me while I was in care. But now that I'm out of care, I can't even cook for myself. So I'm not protected anymore. So in some way, the system protected me, but in some way it didn't, because it didn't allow me to cook for myself. And now I can't cook. I just eat 2-minute noodles all the time, and it's not healthy. So I really want to emphasize the importance of the need to prioritize the specific needs of adolescents, young adults, or teenagers just under the age of 18. So not a may, but a must. You and us need to ensure that every youth, teenager, young person transitioning from alternative care must be supported before and after they leave. Not a may, but a must. All of you have a special opportunity to drive change. So I'd like to invite you to step into a powerful identity as a change maker and as an overcomer that can really influence these amendments. Dankie. Back to you, Louis.
Thank you very